We're Meghan and Matt, and over the last year and a half, we lived full-time in our self-restored 1973 Airstream. Our original plan was to travel full-time, but instead we decided to shift focus towards saving for our own home. And we considered going back to an own apartment, but after factoring the cost of rent, we decided that finding a seasonal campground would be more cost-effective and way more fun. And just like every major life decision that we've ever made, we make a plan and dive in head first. We're now officially seasonal campers at a campground that we've never been to. We just moved in 5 days ago, and in this video, we're gonna work on getting settled into our new life. Good morning, Megan. How you feeling?
So relaxed. It is so nice out here. It's the perfect weather. Perfect day.
It is time to make some breakfast. When we decided we were going to book a local campground for the season, we found a local CSA we could sign up for. We wanted to find a local farm to support, and we found one about 20 minutes away. And yesterday for Earth Day, they actually gave away a bunch of free vegetables. All root veggies here, and then we have a huge bag of spinach. So we got a lot of greens to eat and a lot of tubers to tube. Some carrots. So we're loaded up, and I'm gonna make a little bit of potato hash for breakfast. Before we get too far into the video, I wanted to mention that our cookbook is still on pre-order, and we'll have an update soon for everyone who's already ordered it. More information will be in the description. I don't know what this is. I thought it was a potato, some kind of root vegetable. Alright, I also don't think that this is a sweet potato, but what do I know? One of the greatest joys in life is cooking outdoors. There's just something about the fresh air and sunshine that always makes food taste better. Normally I like to include some meat like bacon or sausage in my breakfast hash, but I decided to keep it light today.
That's a root veggie schmedley. I made a shepherd's pie last night, just having some leftovers. That was good though.
Ah, damn it. I tried the hibachi thing, it didn't work. Oh, perfect crispy egg. Woohoo! Look at that gooey egg. That was a great breakfast, and before we move on to the next thing, I want to try to clean up all these leaves and pine needles. The campground let me borrow their leaf blower, which is pretty sick, so I'm going to get to that and clean up this whole space. There's just something so satisfying about the smell of two-stroke, but time to move on to the next thing. One of our biggest goals in life is to be as self-sufficient as possible, and we didn't want to wait till we have our own property to really start. We're going to try growing our own food at the campsite, starting with this tiny container garden that Megan already started from seed. Actually, let me rephrase that. We're not going to try, we're going to succeed.
One thing I'm really pumped about for this season is we're able to do container gardens at this campsite. I've been starting seeds indoors for 19 days now. This is the first day where it's warm enough to actually get one of our containers going. We have big plans to do more elevated beds, but for now we can get started with this 4 cubic foot container that we got from Vigo Garden, and we used it last year if you guys have been watching that long. Today I'm gonna make my own soil mixture for this Vigo Garden. This is everything that I'm using to create my own soil mixture. You might have noticed that everything's organic. We're gonna try to be as organic as possible. So to save some money, we're gonna go forage around our campsite to fill up our container halfway with some of the organic matter that's available to us for free. I think this crate full is probably enough to fill the garden with free stuff. The bark is great for aeration. Thankfully, we have a bunch at this campsite for free. The sticks are really just there to take up space. So let's fill this thing. My mixture is going to be 2 parts compost. I have 2 types of compost, composted manure and mushroom compost, 2 parts cocoa coir, and then 1 part vermiculite. We're going to do 1/3 of this bag. Now we have mushroom compost. No, we're going to do a portion of the bag. My measurements aren't exact because I don't have a mixing container. Our next step is to mix the mushroom and the composted manure together. I'm more of a use your hands kind of gardener.
The goal of this is to mix the 2 composts together and get rid of any clumps.
And then we're gonna do cocoa coir.
These bugs got bad all of a sudden, huh?
I think it's the manure.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
I also have more coco coir coming. We did 2 parts compost, 2 parts coco coir, and then we're gonna do 1 part vermiculite. So this is left over from the seed starting mix, and I'm gonna add a little bit more if needed. I mean, it's more about feel. I think this might be enough vermiculite.
It looks like
More than
enough.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's pronounced castings or castings, but we're gonna do some worm poo. I purchased some fertilizer, something I've never done before. And because we're not going to have ideal conditions up here, I want to give our plants a little bit of a boost. Put enough to fill my hand. Okay, yeah. This is what the fertilizer looks like. I'm just going to sprinkle it over top and just keep it on the top. Now we're gonna water it in and plant some of the seedlings that need to go in right now. It's probably been like 10 minutes or so, and something in my gut tells me that I should sprinkle on some coco coir on the top. The composted manure is kind of attracting a lot of these flies. So I think by just doing a little bit of coco coir on top, it'll like cover it a little bit. Plus it's great for aeration, and if we're gonna direct sow, having the coco coir on top, being like light and fluffy, is gonna be great for those roots to develop. I feel like the flies have already abandoned the area a little bit, which is a good sign. So it's just a little light layer, and then it's time to just get our seedlings in there, which is so exciting. This is like the first part of the gardening process outside. I'm just very excited. This is your spinach. We're putting them 6 inches apart. Yay! Okay, 6 inches, eyeballing it.
This isn't spinach.
That's a radish. I definitely stunted the growth of the radishes.
How so?
Because they germinate, and they're supposed to be full grown by like 20 days.
Uh-huh.
It's been 19 days, and they've been seedlings. These herbs don't require that much water. I've been keeping them alive for 18 to 17 days, got them for $2.50 at the grocery store. They are all organic, and they're just ready to come out.
Can I show you a good root breaking tip? If you just take the whole bottom and honestly just like kind of like one side, you can be kind of rough with it.
Okay.
Because you want it more broken up than less broken up.
These do best in the corners of your containers because then they can creep out and kind of come around. But also, they don't require as much water as these guys. So over in the corners and on the sides, it gets watered a little less.
You want this one right here?
Yeah, thank you.
You got it. This is fun, huh?
Yeah.
We haven't had a garden together since we had our apartment.
I know. And then now we need some mulch.
We use dried pine needles to cover the soil, and this is going to help keep the soil from drying out.
And now we wait.
We've been here for almost a week, and we've been really coming up with a plan of how we want to set up our space. There are so many options. We've been kind of eyeing what everybody else has on their sites. We're new RVers this season. Previously, we've moose-docked, boondocked. It's a whole thing, guys. But we have this huge lot to do with whatever we want within the rules of what the contract we sign says. So we're going to show you around and share what we're thinking.
So starting here, this is our 23-foot Airstream. It's a 1973 Airstream Safari that we completely rebuilt ourselves. We have an entire playlist on our channel if you want to check it out after this video. It was a doozy building it.
Our Airstream is about 150 square feet. If you've never seen it before, we do have a big tour, but right now I'm going to show you some of the changes that we've made.
Our wood stove used to be here, and we had a bunch of wood and other accessories to stoke the fire over here, but since spring is here, we decided to uninstall it. The flue was kind of just dangling there. Otherwise, we would just have a big hole in the roof. But we built a shelf so that we could store some of our cooking items underneath, and we also have a record player that we absolutely love from Andover Audio. We have been going to thrift stores and collecting some albums, and it's been like a really fun hobby for us to try and find some new music to us. But this thing is super cool. Also, it solves a lot of our storage issues by taking out this wood stove. Last year we kept it in and it was just kind of in the way. This is our house. Everyone kind of has a bigger rig than us. It wasn't until we got here that we realized our house is pretty small. So it's 23 feet, but it's actually 19 feet on the inside, and it's 150 square feet. So we've got the bed in the back. This is our shower and bathroom situation, and this is where we cook, although we have been spending most of our time cooking outside. In the front is where we hang and lounge. I am going to change up the seating. These are outdoor cushions, and they were only meant to be temporary, and after a year and a half they've really lost their luster. So I'm going to redo the entire couch area and hopefully sew some new slip covers on as well. And then lastly, this is where I keep my grow light and my little seedlings. I can't wait to have a big garden outside. But the main difference between living in our Airstream in the spring and summer versus the winter is that we can live in here and we can live outside.
And after over a year and a half of living in here, this is actually our first time at a campsite with full hookups, which brings me to this video's sponsor, eTrailer.
Since this is our first time with actual full hookups, I'm really excited that I don't need to use a bucket to dump our gray water anymore, and I'm able to use a hose. eTrailer sent us everything we need to be able to dump our gray tank like real RVers. But the problem is we're about 5 feet too far from the sewer connection. So I asked eTrailer for a couple extra hose pieces to help bridge the gap. We weren't able to get the trailer anywhere else other than this exact spot. When I built this trailer, I used a 1.5 inch ABS outlet. Turns out pretty much all RV sewer connections, even for gray water, are 3 inch. So I had to get a 3 inch to 1.5 inch reducer and a 3 inch hub to bayonet connector so I can actually connect the hose. Oop, wrong side. All right, first we gotta disconnect my DIY hose. All right, so I've got this little section of 1.5 inch ABS, which is gonna go from the 1.5 inch output into this adapter, and then I'm gonna glue the adapter to the waste outlet. And after gluing everything together, then gluing this contraption to the RV outlet, so now that we're connected, I need to use my 5-foot section to connect to the rest of the pipe. The bayonet right on like this. I connected all the hoses. Now we just need to make sure we have a constant slope all the way down to the drain. And a little while later, after the glue dried, it's time to test it out. With the clear elbow, I can clearly see that the drain is draining properly. If you need anything for your RV or trailer, check out eTrailer.com. Now let's get to the tour.
We made this little table so we'd have an outdoor setup, and it's really nice. It beats just having like a folding camp table. We wanted some style. We made this out of upcycled pallet wood and some leftover lumber from a different project, and a little bit of aluminum that we had from our Airstream build, so you can't say it doesn't match. It's literally the exact same aluminum that our Airstream is made out of. How cool is that? We've changed up things probably 5 times in the last 5 days since being here. Originally, our cooking area was over here, but now it's over here. We've got our Camp Chef 2-burner cooktop, which we really like. We have a grill attachment, and then we left the other burner open for just like boiling water or using a cast iron. And then we have our Blackstone griddle over here. We love both of them. We use them a ton, and we're really excited now that it's warm out to actually be able to cook outside, because we lived in this through the New England winter and zero fun. We built this to live this lifestyle so we could spend more time outdoors, and when it was just freezing cold and snowy, that just didn't happen. So here we are enjoying the outdoors like we intended. Over here is just the it's just a picnic table. It came with the site. We haven't figured out exactly where we want to put it. One thing we're allowed to have is a storage shed up to 8 by 10, but we got to figure out where we want to put it. I think here would be the best spot, but it also gets a lot of sun right here, so we're thinking when we build the other raised beds, we're gonna want to put them there. We got a lot of figuring out to do, and sheds are also really expensive, so it's kind of hard to pull that trigger real quick. We got our marketplace hammock from last summer. That was the very first thing that we set up. It was still like cold and rainy when we got here. Set that up first day. Best decision ever. Right here is where our temporary garden is. It might move over a little bit depending on where the sun seems to hit throughout the day. This is where it is, and we plan on adding to it, but we also might have different garden beds in different spots. We got parking for Megan's car over here, and since no one's in the sites across the way, the manager of the park said we could park the truck over there. The truck did a pretty good job towing the Airstream here, but everyone who said that it was an underpowered truck for full-time travel was definitely correct, because there's no way that we want to take that truck across country with this trailer. And the final part of this entire campsite is probably one of the most important, but it's our campfire area. It needs a lot of work. One of the things we're gonna work on next is gonna be building out this fireplace area. Throughout the site, there was a bunch of random cinder blocks and pavers. Yeah, we wanna make this look really nice. We're gonna see what else we can find around the site.
Originally, we were gonna wait for this little beautification project, but we figured since we were about to have our first fire of the season, we wanted to do it in style. That's a nice big rock, huh?
2 legs.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
she's tough. Black coffee, she's tough.
And then you just roll.
Perfect. That there, like that.
Yeah. The vibe.
Boom. We can always like expand the layer out.
Now let's cut up some wood and get the fire started.
Do not get in the way of a woman and her torch.
I made me a pokey stick. I have to have these little bits on it. What's a campfire without a pokey stick?
Ooh, you making a nice little spear?
How does one make a spear?
You want to do a spear class? Let's make spears.
That would be cool.
All right, I'll grab a good stick.
Oh, right now?
Yeah. What else are we gonna do? Hang out?
Do you know how to make a spear?
Yes. Meg, you.
How did I not know this of you?
I'm a man. I grew up making spears, Megan.
I'm a man. I have a nice smooth pokey stick for poking things.
Here, I'll just turn one into a spear.
Go for it. Tonight's a weeknight, so I have Athletic Brewing Co. non-alcoholic hazy IPA. It tastes like piss water.
This is real Lord of the Flies, huh?
Uh-huh.
So you've never made a spear before?
No. Oh, that looks nice.
You don't want to get it too pointy, otherwise it gets real brittle.
What if you're trying to impale something or someone?
Do you want to test this?
Do you?
We can go hunt some boar. What do you think? Put me out of my misery, please.
I would never. I would never.
You could try.
How would I tow this thing out?
Right.
All right, well, pokey stick spear, done, I guess.
Self-defense and utility.
What a time it's been so far. 5 days in, we're really liking it. Made some kind of silly mistakes about like ordering the wrong power cord and stuff, but whatever, we're learning. But we're super excited to have a home base for the next 6 months and be able to explore the area, work on some other projects. But for now, we're just gonna relax and unwind because after a long, miserable winter, we're ready for some warmth. And that's exactly what we did. We relaxed, we wound down by the fire, and we talked about all the things we can't wait to do for the next 6 months of this seasonal camping.
You could tell we were really tired, just from the move and just life in general. So I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of a snippet of what our life is going to be like, and we're going to get fully set up here pretty soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of an OG vlog style video. There's going to be definitely more to come. I hope you guys are enjoying your warm weather, and we will see you in the next one.